Tonight, he's drunk. I knew.
Hey there, YouTube. SkepticalRoot. Today, counter-apologetics. Number... I don't remember. We're tackling number 2 from Peter Kreeft's website, Arguments for God's Existence. And that is the argument from efficient causality. It starts off here. We notice some things cause other things to be, to begin to be, to continue to be, or both. For example, a man playing a piano is causing the music that we hear. If he stops, so does the music. Now ask yourself, are all things caused to exist by other things right now? Suppose that they are. That is, suppose there is no uncaused being, no God. Then nothing could exist right now. Don't know how that works. For remember, on the no God hypothesis, all things need a present cause outside of themselves in order to exist. I don't know that that's exactly true. That does appear to be the case for cause and effect, I will admit. So right now, all things, including all those things which are causing things to be, need a cause. They can give being only so long as they're given being. Everything that exists, therefore, on this hypothesis stands in need of being caused to exist. They also have a lot of gibberish in here. Not that was well explained. But they then ask 2 questions in this section here. What do we need, or why do we need an uncaused cause? Why could there not simply be an endless series of things mutually keeping each other in being? And 2, why not have an endless series of causes stretching backwards into the past? Then everything would be would actually be, even though their causes might no longer exist. And they have their reasons for this. But let's take on these questions one at a time, and I'll give you a little more understanding of why this apologetic also fails. Because they all do. If any of them worked, no, even if they worked, they wouldn't prove God. They wouldn't even necessarily be evidence of God. They would have then a rational argument for perhaps why there could be, but not anything else. But question 1 here, why do we need an uncaused cause? We don't. We only need, like, the law of cause and effect, and it's not even a law. The axiom, the axiom of cause and effect, is only relevant with the arrow of time. If there is no arrow of time, which seems to point in one direction, then cause and effect don't matter. It is because something happens here. Now let's do it this way, so it looks better for you. Something happens here, and then moves to this position in the arrow of time, that there appears to be cause and effect. Very A theory period of time, where there is only now things that have happened and things that will happen. We are definitely moving from one position to one other position. The B theory of time is a little more open, where all things actually exist, and it's just a matter of where we are within that thing, if you will. If we could travel backwards in time, which is not impossible, it is just not. It's not possible for matter to travel at the speed of light, because it would require infinite energy to reach that speed. Things can travel faster than light, and there are theoretical particles called tachyons which actually travel faster than the speed of light. For them, time could be going backwards. There's a hard limit for our type of particles going in that direction. But that's because we're moving forward in time. A theory of time. But that's only relevant back to 0. From what I understand, the math for expansion will get them back to about a Planck second before the singularity. No, a Planck second after the singularity began to expand. And a Planck second isn't really a second; it's a Planck division of a second. It's the smallest unit of measure of time that we can have. that seems to exist. Everything from there is digital collections of Planck seconds, which may be a measure of the expansion of the universe. My personal theory is that time is actually a condition of the universe expanding, which jives kind of with general relativity and yes, with relativity. I'll say general relativity. I don't know about special relativity, but it would also make sense for in the quantum scale. But I haven't fleshed out the theory, so don't get me started because I can't really explain it yet. I'm not a physicist in my day job. So we only need a cause for things to occur since the Big Bang. Before the Big Bang, in our universe that we exist in now, there was no time. Time may exist outside of that. There may be other things that are occurring. But this still gets us into the infinite regress question of where'd God come from? At some point, we have to have something where something had to have existed all the time, or to a certain extent where there has to have been something that, like, if cause and effect holds even when there is no time, then we have to have things that happen before time or outside of time or something like that. God doesn't fix that. To say that God is timeless, like Carl Sagan said, don't go that extra step. Why can't the universe then itself be infinite? And we know that as the expansion of our universe goes, it goes back 13.7 billion years, as far as we can calculate, give or take. There has to be that point there where that's where our modern time or the current expansion started. But we don't know what came before that. The universe could be an infinite loop of, for all we know, it could be, we expand into space onto itself, and it's actually like dark matter, dark energy, which causes, which will increase over time, and that actually will expand into itself into a singularity again, which will then re-expand into a universe where dark energy and dark matter are reversed with what we consider classical matter now. And who knows? I mean, there's theories out there. That was one of my little pets that I just came up with 3 seconds ago. But we don't know how the cycle works. But that doesn't mean that we get to say, oh, God had to have been it, because we don't know that. We have actually no reason to believe that. Even this logical argument doesn't make sense for it. To say that we needed to have an uncaused cause, because causality and causation and all that stuff is all time dependent. So unless there was something there, you can't have something before it. Putting God outside of the universe only means that he has to be outside of time relative to our perspective, and so he can't affect it because there's no time unless, there could be a universe in which our universe is expanding into, which would mean that there would be a point where time, like our expansion, is happening within the time of some other universe. But then you still get back into an infinite regress if that's the case, where we get back to where did that all come from? And you get back to there could be an infinite chain of universes that are created, or we could be a simulation or a hologram or something like that. We don't need a God for that. There could be something, but there could just as well be nothing. God doesn't answer the infinite regress question. God doesn't even answer the causality question. Because anything that could have caused the universe to exist, or anything in it that's the first cause, doesn't have to be uncaused. It could be a caused cause. There could be loops within loops within loops within loops of how everything came together. That also doesn't have to be. But all we know through the scientific method is going back so far as to say here's as far back as we know, or we can do the math on. Getting past that, we don't really know. We don't know. So question 2, why not have an endless series of causes stretching backwards in the past? They use this strange analogy here. First, they reference the Kalam. First, if the Kalam argument is right, there could not exist an endless series of causes stretching backwards in the past. But somehow we could have a God stretching backwards infinitely into the past. If God is the uncaused cause, then how does that fix anything? Either things go back in time forever, or God goes back in time forever. That doesn't fix anything. That's, fixing a hole in the bucket with an axe. I mean, it doesn't really work that way. You have a hole, and then you just change the shape of the hole. You still have a hole. You either have infinite regress or you have infinite regress. God is, and I should say specifically the Christian apologetic version of God, this all-powerful, transcendent, outside of time and space mind, is just another infinite regress. Either God goes back forever, or the universe does, or the universes, or the chain of universes goes back. Again, but suppose that such a series could exist. The argument is not concerned with the past. It would work whether the past is finite or infinite. It is concerned with what exists right now. So they make this analogy. Was it this and this one? This one here. No, it must not be. So they try to make this. No, I'm not even going to talk about the drunks. There's an analogy in here about, one drunk falling over, but a whole bunch of drunks, they could probably hold each other up. It didn't make any sense. I kind of got where they were going, but it was very tangential to what they were actually arguing. But that's it. Do we have an infinite regress, or we don't have an infinite regress? God doesn't fix that. And as far as we know, causation only goes back to the beginning of expansion because of the arrow of time. Time pointing us that way, or that way, as the case may be. That way is probably more right looking for you, but yeah. So, arrow of time. The arrow of time begins somewhere, and that's as far back as we know that causality or causation relates to itself, or is required or necessary. Beyond that is an infinite Beyond that is an infinite regress. It goes back forever, or it doesn't. It's either the universe is going back forever, or God going back forever. We know that universes exist. It's more likely that the universes go back forever in a cycle, or not. But it's all more plausible than a God that goes back forever. It's, again, doesn't fix the infinite regress. That one made me a little tired. It's because it's all the circles are back on itself. There's one or two more of these, because they all fall into one of like 4 categories of epistemology or ontology or something like that. But we'll check this one off the list. Argument from efficient causality. Done. And it doesn't work. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't answer any questions. It is an apologetic to make people feel better, or to make people go, okay, sure, that makes sense. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some of my other stuff. I got stuff over here somewhere. I know I got stuff down. If you sub to my channel. If you subscribe to my channel, you will find other videos that I've done. From politics to social interactions. I don't know what am I going to call that. call them sociological, religion. I've got a series now of these 20 Peter Kreeft arguments that I'm using for the existence of God, which I will tackle them all one at a time. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Goodbye and hello, as always.
If it doesn't,